Girlfriends was once a symbol of friendship and success, but the truth behind the scenes was darker than anyone could have imagined. Some lost everything within a few years, some sank into depression, and others passed away quietly, unnoticed by the world. When the cameras stopped rolling, their lives turned into a tearful battle for survival. Now, 25 years later, the truth about them has left Hollywood speechless. Tracee Ellis Ross as Joan Clayton. Tracee Ellis Ross was born on October 29, 1972, in Los Angeles, California. At 28 years old, she took on the role of Joan Clayton, a sharp, strong, yet deeply vulnerable lawyer in Girlfriends, 2000. The role quickly made her a face of a new generation of modern women, successful, independent, but quietly lonely. When the laughter on screen faded, Tracee's real life became chaotic. She carried the constant pressure to shine, to prove her worth in a world that endlessly compared her to her mother, the legendary Diana Ross. The feeling of being measured against that towering legacy left her exhausted. Even amid the brilliance of major projects like Blackish and The High Note, Tracee admitted there were mornings when she woke up overwhelmed by anxiety, terrified that a single mistake could make everything collapse. To focus on her career, she chose to live alone. She once said, "I love freedom, but sometimes freedom is lonely." She has never married, has no children, and has devoted herself entirely to creative passion and to Pattern Beauty, the hair care brand she founded. Yet behind her radiant smile linger the scars of anxiety and depression after years of living under the weight of perfection. Today, at 53 years old, Tracee Ellis Ross continues to make her mark with the travel series Traveling Solo with Tracee Ellis Ross on Roku. She lives alone in Los Angeles, embracing peace and inner balance. With an estimated net worth of $16 million, she considers her greatest achievement not the awards, but the lesson she learned: how to truly love herself. Reginald C. Hayes as William Jerome Dent. Reginald C. Hayes was born on July 15, 1969, in Chicago, Illinois. At 31 years old, he played William Dent, the intelligent, charming friend who served as the emotional anchor for the group of women in Girlfriends in 2000. His portrayal made audiences love him for his authenticity and humor. But after years of success, storms began to arrive. When the lights went out, Reginald fell into a long period of unemployment. Film projects were canceled, contracts stopped coming, and he slowly faded from the industry's memory. At one point, he was forced to live temporarily in his sister's garage, spending freezing nights burdened by the bitterness of a man who once walked red carpets but was now forgotten. The sense of loss and humiliation drove him into depression, turning to alcohol and isolation to cope. In recent years, Reginald has fought his way back through small roles in Black Lightning and Abbott Elementary. However, congestive heart failure diagnosed in 2019 severely weakened his health. He was hospitalized in critical condition, and it was during that time he realized the true value of life. Though he never married, he remains optimistic, once saying, "I didn't lose everything. I'm just learning how to start again." Now, Reginald C. Hayes is 56 years old. He lives quietly, occasionally appearing in small Netflix projects and connecting with fans through online meetups. His estimated net worth is around $1 million, modest compared to his past, but a testament to his remarkable resilience. Jennifer Lewis as Veretta Childs. Jennifer Lewis was born on January 25, 1957, in Kinloch, Missouri. At 43 years old, she portrayed Veretta Childs, the powerful, loud, yet deeply insightful mother of Tony in Girlfriends, 2000. Her performance brought energy and emotional depth to the series, making the character a lasting symbol of the strong, intelligent, and complex Black mother. After the series ended, Jennifer's life entered a stormy phase. Diagnosed with bipolar disorder in the 1990s, she began facing the illness as a real nightmare. Periods of deep depression, suicidal thoughts, and the constant conflict between the strong mother she played on screen and the fragile woman she felt like in real life caused her to collapse several times. She was hospitalized, battled medication side effects and panic attacks, even while maintaining her brilliant career with roles such as Ruby Johnson in Blackish, 2014 to 2022, and voicing Flo in Cars, 2006. Her marriage to Arnold Bird in 2012 was one of the few bright spots in her life, but her mental health struggles strained their relationship. Jennifer admitted there were nights of fierce arguments and periods of separation so she could undergo therapy and regain balance. Still, the couple chose to stay together, having learned to love each other through the scars. Her career continued across Broadway, television, and writing, including her acclaimed memoir, The Mother of Black Hollywood. Today, at 68 years old, Jennifer Lewis remains unstoppable. After a serious accident in Africa in 2022 that required 9 hours of surgery, she returned to the stage stronger than ever, standing tall with real scars and a proud smile. She currently lives in Los Angeles, continuing to act, write, and advocate for mental health, inspiring thousands of women. Her estimated net worth is about $2 million. Not immense wealth, but a testament to the indomitable spirit of Hollywood's mother, who never surrendered. Golden Brooks as Maya Denise Wilkes. Golden Brooks was born on December 1, 1970, in Fresno, California. At 30 years old, she joined Girlfriends, 2000, as Maya Wilkes, the sharp-tongued yet warm-hearted secretary who became the voice of working-class women. Her character not only brought laughter, but also reflected the loneliness of women trapped between career, love, and social judgment. When the studio lights went out, Golden faced a harsh reality. She left Hollywood to have a child, and that decision nearly froze her career. Roles were replaced, the phone stopped ringing, and she began to doubt herself. For years, Golden lived with the feeling of being abandoned by an industry she once belonged to. Her return in projects like The Darkest Minds, 2018, and the series Saturdays, 2023, helped her slowly regain her footing. But the struggle of being a single mother, working to survive while raising her daughter, often left her physically and emotionally drained. Her relationship with actor D.B. Woodside, the father of her daughter, ended painfully. She spoke openly about sleepless nights during custody battles and the exhaustion that drove her to seek therapy to overcome fear and anxiety. Though she continues to receive praise and new opportunities, there remains an emptiness inside her that success can't fill. Now, Golden Brooks is 55 years old. She lives in Los Angeles with her daughter, continuing to act and produce independent projects. Her net worth is estimated at around $8 million, earned mainly through acting and television production. While she may no longer shine as brightly as she once did, she has become a symbol of strength and perseverance, a woman who refused to give up. Persia White as Lynn Ann Searcy. Persia White was born on October 25, 1972, in Miami, Florida. At 28 years old, she portrayed Lynn Searcy in Girlfriends, 2000, the bohemian soul who loved freedom and lived between artistic ideals and the instability of real life. The role made Persia shine as the group's most rebellious yet deeply sensitive spirit, earning both admiration and sympathy from audiences. But when the spotlight faded, life turned cruel. Persia threw herself into music, believing melodies could save her from the emptiness that followed fame. Yet the entertainment industry is rarely forgiving to those who disappear. She released an album and received some praise, but poor sales sent her into financial turmoil and self-doubt, questioning whether anyone still remembered her. Long-term unemployment and the pressure to maintain her image as a vegan, humanitarian artist drained her completely. Persia once admitted there were mornings she woke up wishing she could simply vanish. Romantic heartbreaks deepened her wounds. Her public breakup with musician Saul Williams in 2009 led to a prolonged emotional collapse. She withdrew from the public eye, underwent treatment for depression, and nearly lost faith in love altogether. It wasn't until she met Joseph Morgan, who later became her husband, that Persia began to rediscover peace. He helped her reconnect with music and with herself, teaching her that happiness doesn't come from fame, but from authenticity. Today, at 53 years old, Persia White lives a quiet life with Joseph Morgan in California. She spends most of her time writing music, meditating, and participating in animal rights causes. Her net worth is estimated at around $1.5 million. Modest, but enough for her to live by her philosophy. I once dreamed of standing on stage. Now, I just dream of feeling peace when the lights go out. Jill Marie Jones as Antoinette Tony Childs. Jill Marie Jones was born on January 4, 1975 in Dallas, Texas. At 25 years old, she played Tony Childs in Girlfriends, 2000. A proud, beautiful, and ambitious woman who longed for love, but could never truly find it. The role made Jill one of the most sought-after faces on American television, and it seemed as if her future would only shine brighter from there. But that light faded faster than she ever imagined. When she left the show after its 6th season, Jill believed she was ready to rise to greater heights. Yet Hollywood didn't welcome her back with open arms. Rumors of conflicts with co-stars, disputes over salary, and claims of difficult behavior began to circulate, making her a name quietly avoided in casting rooms. She later confessed that there was a time when every silent phone call from her agent made her heart ache with fear. During those years, she often sat alone in her small home, waiting for the moment she could shine again. She attempted a comeback with roles in Ash vs. Evil Dead and Delilah, but her past followed like a shadow that refused to leave. Professional disappointments soon intertwined with personal struggles. A string of short-lived relationships with fellow artists turned her into tabloid fodder, driving her further into isolation, insomnia, and emotional numbness. At one point, she admitted she had to seek therapy to overcome panic attacks triggered by seeing her own name in the headlines. Now, Jill Marie Jones is 50 years old. She leads a quiet life, producing independent film projects and taking guest roles in smaller TV series. Her estimated net worth is around $2 million, mostly from her earlier work and image royalties. Jill has said that after all these years, success no longer means fame. It means learning to forgive Hollywood. Khalil Kaine as Darnell Leroy Wilkes. Khalil Kaine was born on November 22, 1964, in New York City. At 36 years old, he joined Girlfriends in its 2nd season in 2001, portraying Darnell Wilkes, a calm, honest husband caught in the storm of marriage and Maya's ambitions. His character represented the quiet men forgotten in a fast-changing world, and Kaine brought to the role a rare emotional depth that resonated deeply with viewers. But after years of fame, Khalil entered a dark chapter of his life. He lost a family member to gun violence, a tragedy that shattered him mentally and emotionally. The pain haunted him so deeply that he withdrew from film work and turned to theater as a form of healing. Out of that grief came powerful artistic work, such as Lambs to Slaughter, 2022, a raw, emotional piece about violence, loss, and redemption that left audiences speechless. Roles in films like For Colored Girls, 2010, helped him stand back up, but the emptiness never truly left. His marriage to Ellis Lyon also faced its share of challenges. The loss within his family made Khalil withdrawn, sometimes angry and distant. Yet love, and their 2 children, gave him the strength to keep going. Through years of therapy, he learned to face pain instead of running from it, transforming tragedy into creative purpose and becoming an outspoken advocate against community violence. Now, at 61 years old, Khalil Kaine lives quietly in New York. He occasionally teaches acting and directs independent stage productions. With an estimated net worth of $1.5 million, he no longer chases fame or spotlight. What he values most now is the peace within his own mind. Kesha Sharp, as Monica Charles Brooks. Kesha Sharp was born on June 9, 1973, in Brooklyn, New York. In 2003, at 30 years old, she joined Girlfriends in its third season as Monica Charles Brooks, a confident, successful woman and the perfect foil to William Dent. Her character exuded sophistication and strength, captivating audiences with a mix of allure and intensity that helped establish Kesha as one of the most emotionally nuanced actresses of the series. After that success, Kesha never slowed down. Determined to break boundaries, she threw herself into work, starring in The People vs. O.J. Simpson, 2016, and Marshall, 2017, earning Emmy and NAACP nominations. But that brilliance came at a cost. Exhausting schedules, constant travel, and the pressure of representing Black women in a demanding industry left her physically and mentally drained. She once admitted there were days she couldn't tell whether she was acting on screen or just trying to hold herself together in real life. Her marriage to Brad Sharp, her high school sweetheart, seemed picture perfect. But even within happiness, she struggled with burnout and imbalance. Brad stood by her during her breakdowns, reminding her that fame could never replace health or peace. With his support, Kesha began shifting toward directing and social advocacy, turning her personal pain into a call for mental health awareness in the entertainment industry. By 2025, Kesha Sharp is 52 years old. She continues to work tirelessly, both acting and directing, appearing in Dark My Light and Power Book 2, Ghost. Her estimated net worth is around $3 million, but what she values most is keeping her family intact and her heart kind in a world that never stops competing. Phil Reeves, as Charles Swedelson. Phil Reeves was born on January 12, 1953, in New York City. At 54 years old, he appeared in Girlfriends, 2000, as Charles Swedelson, the strict yet warm-hearted boss, representing the pragmatic male presence amid a world ruled by the emotions of female lawyers. Though a supporting character, his role stood out for its subtle humor and seasoned charm, thanks to Reeves's natural wit and depth of experience. But behind the camera, time was no longer on his side. As the years went by, Phil faced the harsh truth of Hollywood. Fewer roles, fewer calls, and the quiet pain of feeling retired too soon, while his passion for acting still burned. He once confessed that the silence between projects was the loneliest part of his career. Still, Reeves refused to give up. He found new joy in television with roles like Vice President Andrew Doyle in Veep, 2012 to 2019, and appearances in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, 2013 to 2021. Even as his work continued, age inevitably took a toll on his health. Persistent fatigue forced him to scale back his schedule, turning his focus to teaching screenwriting and spending more time with family. His stable marriage became his anchor through those quieter years. Today, Phil Reeves is 79 years old. He lives peacefully in California with his wife, occasionally joining small projects and teaching independent acting workshops. His net worth is estimated at around $1 million. Modest, yet a reflection of a true artist's life. Not flashy, but enduring, intelligent, and full of quiet kindness until the very end. CeCe Michaela as Yvonne Blackwell. CeCe Michaela was born on May 1, 1970, in Hickory, North Carolina. At 31 years old, she appeared in Girlfriends 2000 as Yvonne Blackwell, a spirited, fiery police officer with deep emotions beneath her tough exterior. Her character added a comedic yet heartfelt balance to the show's complex romantic storylines, reminding audiences that even the strongest people can be fragile when it comes to love. When she stepped away from the screen, CeCe faced a silent heartbreak. Her career stalled. Roles dwindled, calls stopped coming, and she was forced to re-examine herself in a constantly shifting Hollywood. Instead of giving in to despair, she sought refuge in music and writing. Yet the new path was not easy. There were days when she had to self-produce her music, promote it on her own, and perform at small events just to keep her passion alive. After every setback, she returned to her empty apartment, wondering if the spotlight would ever find her again. From that darkness, Cece discovered a new purpose. She pivoted toward wellness and mental health, founding Zuliana Nutrition, a brand dedicated to helping thousands heal through nutrition and a clean lifestyle. From a comedic actress, she transformed into an inspirational figure for countless women searching for direction in their lives. Today, Cece Michaela is 56 years old. She lives on the East Coast with her husband and continues running her health company. Her net worth is estimated at around $500,000. With her powerful voice and gentle heart, Cece stands as living proof of a woman's ability to rewrite her destiny with resilience and grace. Richard T. Jones as Aaron Waters. Richard T. Jones was born on January 16, 1972, in Kobe, Japan. At 28 years old, he appeared in Girlfriends 2000 as Aaron Waters, a calm, intelligent man caught between logic and emotion, remembered by audiences for his thoughtful, searching eyes. Though he joined only in the later seasons, Jones brought depth to his character, helping the series close with maturity and emotional honesty. After those years, Richard's career was far from easy. He faced the familiar struggle of many supporting actors, typecast roles, few leading opportunities, and the constant pressure to prove his range. In the early 2000s, he tried to sustain momentum with roles in Why Did I Get Married? And Godzilla, but the feeling of being overlooked by Hollywood left him drained and anxious. His marriage to Nancy Robinson became his greatest anchor. The two married in 1996 and raised 3 children together through the ups and downs of his career. Yet even in happiness, the constant travel for filming and the effort to maintain a public image often left him exhausted and emotionally depleted. With his wife and children's support, he eventually found balance and a new sense of purpose through his role as Lieutenant Wade Gray in The Rookie, 2018 to present. Now, Richard T. Jones is 53 years old and still active in The Rookie as well as independent projects. He lives in California with his family and teaches acting to aspiring performers. His estimated net worth is around $4 million, though what he values most isn't wealth. It's the privilege of working with integrity without ever having to shout to be heard. Dandre T. Whitfield as Shaun Ellis. Dandre T. Whitfield was born on May 27, 1969, in Brooklyn, New York. At 31 years old, he portrayed Shaun Ellis in Girlfriends 2000, a charming, realistic man haunted by his fear of commitment. His performance captured audiences because within Shaun's eyes lived a familiar loneliness, one everyone has felt at some point. Behind the camera, however, Dandre was fighting a quiet battle: how to sustain his career without losing his family. After Girlfriends, he entered a difficult phase, with only short guest appearances or brief sitcom roles. The sense of being almost successful became a psychological burden. In an interview, he once said, "The silence in the audition waiting room is louder than the applause on set." But his role as Remy in Queen Sugar, 2016 to 2022, pulled him back from obscurity, earning him an NAACP nomination and restoring his confidence in his craft. His marriage, on the other hand, told a different story. Steady, but far from simple. Dandre and actress Sally Richardson married in 2002 and weathered many ups and downs together. When he was unemployed, she carried the financial weight. When she became a director, he took on the role of a full-time father. They transformed marriage into an artistic partnership rather than a battle of egos. That stability helped Dandre shift toward writing and motivational speaking, spreading the message, "Be a man, not just a male." Today, Dandre Whitfield is 56 years old. He lives in Los Angeles with his wife and 2 children, continuing to act, write, and speak at conferences about healthy masculinity. His estimated net worth is around $1 million, but his true value lies in resilience. A man who once lost his way, only to find light again within his own family. Shaun Harrison as Peaches. Shaun Harrison was born on December 28, 1973, in Los Angeles. At 28 years old, he appeared in Girlfriends, 2007, as Peaches, the charming, witty, and energetic hairstylist who brought moments of levity to the tangled love stories of the main cast. Though a minor role, his colorful presence made Shaun one of the most beloved supporting faces in the series. But once the lights faded, Shaun entered a long period of silence. He admitted that transitioning from the funny sidekick stereotype to more serious roles was far more difficult than he ever expected. For years, he had no major projects, and Hollywood seemed to forget the name once associated with family matters. To make ends meet, he turned to voice acting, screenwriting, and small-scale producing. The loneliness of being a once famous actor no longer called by anyone made him consider leaving the industry altogether. Then, in 2021, Shaun made a comeback with The Ms. Pat Show. This time, he wasn't just acting, he was also producing. On set, he rediscovered the joy that first drew him to performing. Though awards never came, he said, "Stability and being myself again was the greatest prize." In his personal life, Shaun remains private, never disclosing details about marriage or children. By 2025, at 53 years old, Shaun Harrison lives a simple life in Los Angeles, working independently and managing small television projects. His net worth is estimated at around $500,000, but more importantly, he's learned how to smile without needing an audience, a lesson only time can teach. Tanner Scott Richards was born on November 8, 1992, in Westwood, California. At just 7 years old, he played Jabari Wilkes in Girlfriends, the quick-witted son of Maya, a symbol of youthful optimism amid the complicated adult world. Audiences adored Tanner's natural innocence, but few knew that the role placed on his small shoulders a burden few child actors could carry. When the series ended, Tanner entered his teenage years and lost the glow of childhood fame. Hollywood no longer wanted the cute kid it once embraced. It demanded newer, older, and more marketable faces. Tanner fought to stay in the game, auditioning, studying acting, and even trying his hand at theater. But the results were limited to small, sporadic roles. The transition from child star to serious actor became a lonely journey. For years, he kept away from the public eye, later revealing he had struggled with mild depression from feeling left behind in a cold, unforgiving industry. Time eventually guided him toward a new path. Tanner moved into independent theater, where he could reclaim creative control and rediscover his love for storytelling. Though no longer a household name, he gradually regained confidence and found fulfillment in teaching acting to children, helping them navigate the very world that once overwhelmed him. By 2025, Tanner Scott Richards is 32 years old. He lives quietly, unmarried, and continues to pursue his passion for the arts with modest earnings. His net worth is estimated at around $300,000, small in numbers but rich in meaning for a young man who chose peace and purpose over fame. Kendre Barry as Jabari Wilkes. Kendre Barry was born on March 14, 1991 in Flint, Michigan. At just 11 years old, he took on the role of Jabari Wilkes in Girlfriends, 2007, replacing child actor Tanner Scott Richards. As Maya's son, Kendre brought new energy to the character, mischievous, intelligent, yet sensitive, allowing audiences to witness Jabari's growth and maturity over the years. However, when the series ended, Kendre faced the familiar shock that many young actors encounter. Hollywood rarely makes room for faces that once found fame as children. He tried his hand at independent films and small projects, but most went unnoticed. The long gaps between roles left him uncertain and disoriented. At one point, Kendre admitted he nearly gave up acting altogether because, as he put it, every promise from the studios vanished into smoke. Instead of quitting, he chose to quietly rebuild from scratch. Kendre studied production, began writing his own material, and participated in small indie projects, even when budgets were tight. Without the glamour of major sets, he rediscovered joy in creating stories of his own. His personal life remains private. He has never publicly discussed marriage or relationships, but colleagues describe him as mature, grounded, and grateful for every small opportunity. By 2025, Kendre Barry is 29 years old, living in Los Angeles and continuing to work in the independent film scene, occasionally stepping behind the camera as a young director. His estimated net worth is around $200,000, modest yet reflective of an artist who never abandoned his passion. 25 years later, Girlfriends still leaves an unforgettable mark, but the real lives of those who brought it to life are even more haunting than the stories on screen. Which of their journeys moved you the most? Share your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe to join us as we uncover more untold stories behind Hollywood's bright lights.